What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in a video. This time once again, we're going to talk about the greatest players in NBA history. And for this video, I'm going to look at 5 different legends who were simply unbeatable when it came to the playoffs. And what I mean by that, when they played a certain team, whether that be the Knicks, the Pacers, whatever it may be, they simply could not be stopped and they could not be beaten. And at the end of the day, this player simply had that team's number. Now before I get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so, and if you could like this video, I greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at our first legend, that being Michael Jordan. Now in Jordan's career, he had many defeats, many triumphs, many rivals, and many tough opponents. But when you talk about Jordan in his prime in the 90s, his biggest rival was undoubtedly the New York Knicks, a team that had Pat Riley coaching them. They had John Starks, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and some really good depth and role players. And in Jordan's career, he faced the Knicks 5 different times in the playoffs in 89, 91, 92, 93, and 96, winning all 5 times. The only time the Knicks beat the Bulls was in 94 when Jordan was retired. And looking at the overall summary of this rivalry, Jordan had his way versus the Knicks. Overall in the playoffs, he averaged 33.1 points per game, 6.4 boards, 6.0 assists, on 47, 34, and 84 splits. And we're looking at his scoring average. The most he ever averaged was 36 points per game in 1996. The lowest he ever averaged was a measly 29 points per game in 1991. And when you speak on any rivalry, what you look to is big-time highlight moments that stand out in NBA history. And for Jordan, he had plenty of those versus the Knicks. The first one I think of is in 1986, when Jordan scored 50 on opening night in Doug Collins' coaching debut.
The game is tied. I'm soaking wet with sweat. I've chewed my gum to a powder. It's around my mouth. And I saw this hand come out with a cup of water, and it was Michael Jordan. And he looked at me and he said, "Coach, take a drink of that water, clean that stuff off your mouth. I'm not going to let you lose your first game."
Michael Jordan. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Rory Sparrow working on it. Jordan to the basket and scores.
The next year in 87, he had 40 points in Chicago in the game-winning jump shot.
As do the Bulls, plus a 20. Wilkins to the hoop and ties it at 99. 8 seconds remaining. 5 seconds left. Here's Jordan. 3 seconds left. And Jordan hits.
Fast forward 4 years to 91, in Game 3 versus the Knicks, Jordan had 33 points, 7 assists, and 6 boards, and the iconic dunk on Patrick Ewing.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks.
He's just simply amazing.
Looking at the 93 Eastern Conference Finals in Game 3, Jordan, down 2-1, had 54 points and dominated on both ends. And in 95, in one of his first games back from retirement, Jordan had the famous double nickel and the game-winning assist.
But Michael had always possessed a keen sense of drama, and in this, his return to center stage, he gave the audience a surprise ending.
Now looking at 1997, Jordan had the infamous con man game where Jeff Van Gundy said he suckered in players and befriended them so he could beat them easier. In this game, Jordan had 51 points on 60% shooting.
Jackson told Dick Versace before the game in the locker room that Michael Jordan was upset with some comments Van Gundy had made because Jeff Van Gundy had said Jordan, with his friendships with other players around the league, lulls them into a false feeling of friendship and then strikes like a viper.
Well, he's a snake right now. I'll tell you that.
And his last ever great game versus the Knicks as a Bull came in 98 when he had 42 points wearing the Air Jordan 1s. And the last all-time great performance Jordan had versus the Knicks came in 2002 with the Washington Wizards. In this game, Jordan had 26 points and the game-winning shot over Latrell Sprewell.
Jordan, played by Sprewell, has the 5. Here's Michael, firing and hits with 3 and 2/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
So during MJ's career, he had his way versus the Knicks, but they gave him some very tough battles and even took him to 1 Game 7. And I think those Knicks teams historically are pretty underrated. Now looking at our next NBA legend, we have Steph Curry. And when it comes to playoffs, the team that can never beat him is the Portland Trailblazers and Dame Lillard. And to put it very simply, Dame and Steph, they are two of the best point guards in the game, if not the best point guards, but Steph Curry at the end of the day always comes out on top versus Dame. And looking at the overall summary of this rivalry, Steph in the playoffs versus Portland averages 33.4 points per game, 7.4 assists, 6.8 boards on 47, 41, and 91 splits. And in total, he's played Portland 3 times, averaging 34.5 points per game, 29.9, and 36.5. And when looking at 2016 and 2019, those two series are Steph's 2 highest scoring series of his career. So when he plays Portland, he definitely brings his best. And in total, he has 1 40-point game and 7 30-point games versus the Blazers. Also, he's had 3 games of 5+ threes and 3 games of 7+ threes. And you can make a very strong case that Steph's 2019 series versus Portland was the best series of his career. In that series overall, he averaged 36 points per game, 8.3 boards, 7.3 assists on an insane 47, 43, and 94 splits. And Golden State swept Portland in 4 games. And I do want to note very quickly, Kevin Durant did not play in any of those games. Also looking at 2017, Steph averaged 30, KD missed 2 games of that series also. And Golden State had no problem without him, winning both those games by an average of 17.5 points per game. Now when looking at individual games, Steph had some big time performances versus Portland. In 2016, he had 39 points and 9 threes in only 34 minutes. And those 9 threes are the most ever versus Dame Lillard. In the 2016 playoffs in Portland, he had 40 points off the bench in his I'm back game, which is a statement win for Golden State.
High screen comes, Curry. Some ball handling, fires up a 3, does it again!
Also in 2017, in Game 4, the elimination game, he had 37 points, 8 assists and 7 boards, and added in 7 3-pointers.
Curry with a deep 3. Steph Curry.
Let's see if Steph hunts one more down here.
Final seconds of the quarter. Curry all the way.
In Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in 2019, Steph had 36 points, 7 assists and 6 boards, again with 9 threes. And in the final game of that series, Game 4, he had 37 points, 13 assists, 11 boards, and added in 7 3-pointers.
Turner guarding Curry. Jerebko sets the screen. Curry long distance way outside. Put!
See Steph Curry comes off that screen, big guy sitting further back.
And this past year in 2021, he had a career-high 62 points versus the Blazers. He also added in 17 points in the 4th quarter.
Man, Steph is running into the front court. Draymond finds him another 3. Got it! 62! 62!
So overall, Steph had some absolutely dominant performances versus that Portland team. And when it comes down to it, he is simply unbeatable when it comes to Blazers. Now, sticking with an active player, next up, we have LeBron James. And the team LeBron owns in his unbeatable verse is the Toronto Raptors. And in his career, he beat some of the best Raptors teams in their franchise history. And he haunts the memory of one DeMar DeRozan. Now, when looking at his stats overall, he averages 31.1 points per game, 8.4 boards, 7.6 assists on insane 58, 35, and 70 splits. In the playoffs, he's met Toronto 3 different times, that being 2016, 2017, and 2018. And when looking at his scoring average versus the Raptors in 2017, he averaged 36 points per game, the 2nd highest ever in a series, and in 2018, he averaged 34 points per game, the 6th most in a series. And in total, he had 1 40-point game and 6 30-point games, including 3 triple-doubles and 8 straight wins from 2017 to 2018. Now, when talking about LeBronto and its origins, it actually began in 2005 with one of LeBron's best games ever. In this game, he had 56 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, including 18 points in the 4th quarter. Also look at 2008, you had one of LeBron's best ever trash-talking moments when he told Chris Bosh's girlfriend to sit down and shut up. In that game, LeBron had 39 points and exploded for 24 in the 4th quarter.
Now at this point in the game, LeBron's 6 of 19 and some lovely ladies begin having some fun at LeBron's expense, and it appears that LeBron's taking it well, some giggles, but you know what time the 4th quarter is, Neil.
The Raptors
inspiring LeBron James would be the turning point.
Well, as Elliott pointed out, even though he came down on offense, he was just looking over the Raptors bench, and there again.
Now, looking to the LeBronto era, one of LeBron's best ever games came in Game 6 versus the Raptors, where he had 33 points, 11 assists, and 6 boards on 59% shooting in an elimination game.
I don't think last year I appreciated it enough getting back to the finals. This year, I'm going to appreciate this with these guys tonight and for the next couple of days before we lock back in.
In 2018, versus a 60-win Raptors team that was favored to win, in Game 1 of that series, LeBron had 43 points on 68% shooting, and he hit numerous fadeaways and dagger shots. In the fourth quarter, he had 12 total points, a game high.
It's a shake. Now watch the fake, see? I come right back, and then I throw the fadeaway. Look where he is. The distance on the fadeaway.
That is an unguarded.
And probably a top 5 moment in LeBron's career, and definitely the best versus the Raptors, which came in Game 3 of the second round of the playoffs. In this game, LeBron had 38 points on 54% shooting. And at the end of that game, he had the dagger bank shot to seal the deal and finally break Toronto's heart one last time.
It's going to be James. Here it is. See, it's under 3 seconds to go. Throws up the floater. Good night, Cleveland. That is for you.
Now next up, we have another big-time force of nature, that being Shaquille O'Neal. And in Shaq's absolute prime, the team he owned and was unbeatable against was the Sacramento Kings. And in total, he played them 3 straight years from 2000 to 2002. And his stats overall, he averaged 30.8 points per game, 15.7 boards, 2.7 blocks, 0.6 steals on 55% shooting, and 53% shooting from the line. And many forget this Kings team was a legit championship contender. In 2000, they pushed LA to 5 games in the first round, which at that time was the most you could go in the first round. And in 2002, they took them to 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. And Shaq in total versus the Kings had 4 40-point games, 3 30-point games, 14 double-doubles, and 8 games of 3+ blocks. And if you look to his best ever game versus the Kings, in Game 1 of 2000, he had 46 points, 17 boards, 5 blocks on 64% shooting. In that same series in Game 5, he had 32 points, 18 boards, 4 assists on 62% shooting in a Game 5 where they're facing elimination. In Game 1 of the 0-1 playoffs, Shaq had 44 points, 21 boards, 4 assists, and 7 blocks on 53% shooting, and added in 13 points in the fourth quarter. And by far his most important games and his best games came in 0-2 when they were down 3-2. In Game 6, he had 41 points, 17 boards, 2 blocks on 56% shooting. And in Game LA, won by 4 points. In the following game, in Game 7, he once again played big, having 35 points, 13 boards, 2 assists, 4 blocks on 48% shooting. And in that game, he went 11 of 15 from the free throw line.
Shot clock to 3. O'Neal ties it at 106 from the field. 10 of 14 at the line. 34 points, make it 35, along with 13 rebounds.
Now, so far in this video, we look at 4 different NBA legends who own teams and were unbeatable in the playoffs. But the player who tops this list when talking about being unbeatable has to be Bill Russell versus the LA Lakers. In Russell's career, he met LA 7 different times, beating them all 7 times. And he was so dominant versus the Lakers, he had Jerry West contemplating retiring after several finals losses. And we're looking at his individual numbers versus LA. He averaged 18.5 points per game, 24.2 boards, 5.2 assists on 51% shooting. And when talking about Russell, his best trait was grabbing boards. And in all those series, he averaged over 21 boards per game, his highest average being 29.5. And if you look at Bill's career, some of his best games ever came versus the Lakers in the finals. In 1962, down 3-2, Russell had 19 points, 24 boards, and 10 assists in a must-win game. And in that same series in Game 7, he had 30 points and 40 rebounds. Till this day, that is the most rebounds in a Game 7 in a final series. And in 1965, Russell had a dominant triple-double, having 23 points, 25 boards, 10 assists, on 91% shooting while playing all 48 minutes. And in 1966, in Game 7 of that series, he had 25 points and 32 boards. So when talking about Bill Russell, he owned the Lakers, and he was unbeatable versus them in the playoffs. So that right there is the end of the video, and that was 5 NBA players who were simply unbeatable in the playoffs. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.